Nothing's off limits with this duo. It's father and daughter, Don and Cher. And join the club if you're a Chattermouth.
Hey y'all, it's Cher and
Dawn.
And welcome back to the
Chattermouth Podcast.
I am so excited because today we are joined with my favorite chef is here, Niki from The Green Table. The Green Table is my favorite vegan restaurant of all time.
It is so delicious.
And, it's an award-winning restaurant. It has the most awards in all of Tampa Bay for a vegan restaurant, which is incredible. We are so lucky to be sitting down with you today.
No, I'm lucky one.
No, I
get
really...
to be with the Chattermouth girls.
Thank you so much. Well, we are so excited. I want to dive right into
Yes.
your story, how you got involved with opening up a vegan restaurant. I want to talk about some vegan food ideas. So many of our listeners want to learn how to make incredible vegan food, and
you're the expert on
take
that.
away take away the myth that vegan food has to be bland because
And
we all
boring
and
and-
boring because I know by going to your restaurant that is far from the truth.
Right.
So let's start off with tell us a little bit about yourself
Okay.
and how you got involved in all of this.
All right. So, I've always had a passion for cooking. All of my life had a passion for cooking. I believe you can bring so much comfort through the belly.
So true.
Feeding souls in other ways.
Yes.
So, I'm going to say it was maybe the year 2000. My son came home from school. He was 12 years old, and he just decided he didn't any longer wanted to eat animals.
Wow.
And so I
was
thought,
like
okay.
me.
You were 12 years
12
old.
years
Yes,
old.
I know.
Which
That's
is
what when I heard that, I was like,
unbelievable.
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It seems to be a very influential age.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was
So-
it because you had animals growing up, or
I mean, I
him growing
did.
up?
He didn't. He
didn't.
didn't. It's not like we, lived on a farm or anything here
Yeah.
in Florida or something like that. He didn't even care for the beach as much.
Wow.
It's just really, really
Yeah.
out of the ordinary for him to
Yeah.
come home from school. So I said, well, we can discuss this during dinner. And he said, don't make any meat. It started with that. And
I can
so
relate.
2 questions I had for him was, number one, are you doing this for a girl? Because if you're doing this for a girl, it's not going to last a week. I'm not going to change my pantry and my entire kitchen and my lifestyle and learn how, a whole new form of cooking
Right.
for a girl that's going to break up with you in a week.
Right.
Or is there something that you learned in school that, you want to teach mommy, And it was both. It was a girl who showed him something. And then that was it for him.
Wow.
And he, started with the vegetarian lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And so, wow, that was tough for me because I was such a big cook.
Mm-hmm.
I cooked for everybody all the time.
Right.
And so I had to learn a lot. And it was just diving right in and testing and trial and error and just playing with things. And so fast forward, throughout his life. And I was the mom that never would take him to fast food restaurants or anything like that growing up. And so when he could sneak off on his bike on his own, he'd be, going to McDonald's or something like that. And when he changed his ways, it was, I'll order number one, which anyone who's ever ordered from McDonald's will know this is the Big Mac meal. Okay. So he'll order that number one value meal without meat.
Oh,
wow.
So that's how
Big
he
Mac
started.
hold the meat.
Hold the meat.
Wow.
beef.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he probably,
So
grew
cool.
into hold the cheese, hold the sauce, hold the whatever, later on, but he probably just didn't eat it as he grew up.
So cool.
But yeah, so that's where all of that began. And I followed it somewhat for my own self. But it was basically anytime Sunday family dinners would come around or whatever, what am I going to make for Christian? What am I going to do for him and his friends? Because his friends would follow him.
Right.
He was very influential. And so his friends would follow him. So then when it was like, he's coming over for dinner, for a Sunday dinner. And everyone seemed to really enjoy what I was making for him.
Right.
So then it was, the holidays, whenever a Christian would come for the holidays, we have to make vegan stuff or, vegetarian stuff or whatever. And so it just kind of grew from there. And then in 2014, I was diagnosed with lupus.
Oh, wow.
And when I was diagnosed with lupus, I thought, oh gosh, I don't want to be sick. And, God forbid I die from this disease one day or whatever. And so I really started transitioning. I had a hard time transitioning. The meat was easy to walk away from. We really never ate red meat. We ate a lot of white
Right.
Okay. So it was easy for me to walk away from that and transition, but cheese was hard to go away from. And I think you'll find that with anybody.
Yeah,
That's
that was hard
the
for me
hardest
too.
Yeah.
for me, though.
Yeah.
I
It's
still-
like
the
sugar.
cheese.
It's addictive. It's like
It
sugar.
is addictive. Yeah.
Very addictive.
And I was vegetarian for so many years until I finally went vegan because
Yeah.
it was so hard
Yeah.
to get rid of the cheese too.
It's so hard. But today we don't have this problem because so
don't
many
have
people
it.
make some amazing cheeses.
And we're no longer addicted
no,
because
it's
cheese
gone
is
now.
it's an addictive quality in it. It's very
Yes.
interesting.
It's
Yeah.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah, there are addictive ingredients.
Yeah.
That are put into there. So we so in 2014, I said, okay, I'm going to slowly try and transition. By 2017, my daughter decided that she was going to transition, and that was her New Year's resolution. So 2017, January 1, 2017 was her resolution, and she said, "Mommy, you're going to do this, right? Full in. We're never going to touch it again."
Wow.
And I was like, okay, we'll never do it again. And
What made her transition?
I think she wanted to do it more for, she's growing up. She's looking at the health benefits.
Yeah.
But I think to be, which I can say this all the time, people will go vegan, but not for the lifestyle. They'll do it for a health benefit, a diet, to lose a few pounds. And I think that at first that's probably what it was. It was like, okay, I'm going to get healthy this year. You're making your New Year's resolutions. Everybody does that, right? I'm going to lose 30
of
pounds
course.
this year. I'm going to do this
Right.
year. I'm going to do that. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to whatever.
Right.
So that was, the original plan. But by 2018, we had the opportunity, my husband and I had the opportunity to buy this restaurant. And it was a vegetarian restaurant. And
Wow. Wait, so were you vegan before that or no?
I was. So 2017.
That you were officially.
Yeah.
Okay.
It went
I remember,
official.
Because the restaurant before you bought it was actually a vegetarian restaurant. It was not
Exactly,
vegan.
Right.
And you made it all vegan.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Did it start out vegan when you first started?
No.
I think it was vegetarian,
It was
right?
vegetarian.
I remember
Yeah.
I've been going there for years.
Yeah.
I was one of her first customers.
Yes. Yeah.
It was my favorite.
You were. So the funny thing is about the restaurant and how we first started that was when we first bought that restaurant, being a vegetarian restaurant, when we bought it as the restaurant following. We had to buy the following.
Yeah.
We needed that following.
Right.
She was 20 years in business.
Yeah.
She had a great following and she had some
Yeah,
great
it was
recipes.
good, right.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wanted that following.
Right.
And
It's
in
a
order
smart
to
idea.
do that,
That was smart because it's hard to start a vegan restaurant,
oh
especially.
my
Very
gosh,
hard.
from the ground up.
Right. Very tough.
Good luck.
Right.
Yeah. It's so that is a very
Right.
tough
Right.
thing to do. So we bought the following, the customer base,
Yes.
and we just
was
kind of
smart.
started transitioning from there. And it's the first couple of years, we kind of had a deal with her that said, we would not lose your customer base. And so in doing that, we needed to keep that menu.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so we kept the eggs on the menu. And that was one of the only things that was there that wasn't really truly vegan was an egg and a little cheese.
Yes,
And a little
right,
cheese here and there.
yes.
But the cheese was easy for us to switch over and nobody would
Right.
ever know the difference.
Well, then first I remember at the beginning you had either regular cheese or vegan
Yes,
cheese.
that's right.
And that's
Right,
how
you had
That's
it
right.
right.
And so
Eventually-
that's how we were able to switch it over because we gave
Right.
both
Yeah.
options. And
Yes.
then we just
Stopped.
weaned out the regular cheese
Right.
and nobody ever
You know,
really knew.
No,
Exactly,
I
that's what you
remember
did.
when this happened because I remember calling to place an order
And you-
for a takeout,
you used
and
to
I
say.
you'd say, "Oh, can I get the vegan cheese?" And
Yeah.
someone on the phone was like, "Oh, it's only vegan
only
cheese."
vegan.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, wait, really?"
Because we transitioned it. Yes, I remember that. And I
That's
remember all those
so
phone
cool.
calls all the time
Yeah.
coming in. And so, yes, we started out with the eggs. And I'm going to tell you what saved us was COVID. Because in 2018, we opened in September of 18. And my son was there with us. My son, my husband, and I, and we opened. And in February of 2019, I lost my son.
I'm so
And we decided at that point in time, okay, we're going to, get through 2019. We're going to be okay. We're going
Right.
to, but we won our first award that year. We met
Wow.
you guys that year. We got to do some really great things. And so all of those things were just blessings for us and just, helped us to continue to grow.
wow.
In 2020. So 2019, you're like, okay, we got this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
We're going to get through this year. And then in 2020, we're hit with COVID, first of the year,
Wow.
Right.
you know?
Right.
Right.
And so then we're like, what now? You know, this is another year we're going to deal with this.
Right.
And I'm telling you, that was actually, it was a blessing. It really was. It was a blessing in disguise. And I'm
Really?
going to tell you why.
How?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
So in 2020, we were thinking
Yeah.
we have to go through this whole year. We have to keep this menu. We were being beaten up by the vegan activists all of
What?
2019. They hated the fact that we still had eggs on our menu, but we would have vegan options.
Right.
Now,
What
today-
vegan activists are doing
Oh,
that?
so many.
Like social media activists?
Yes, and
really?
locals, and they just hated the fact that the Green Table restaurant
Had both.
was vegetarian.
Right.
It was listed as the Green Table vegetarian restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
but it had vegan options. And they hated that. They hated that. Did they know that we were forced to stay that way for a little while? No. But they would do anything they could to break it down, right? And beat it up.
Wow.
So we, in 2020, when I say it was a blessing, it was because there were so many things you could not get. The import-export business, the farmers, everybody was losing control.
Yes. Right.
And chaos began. And at that point in time, it was, oh gosh, if you know anything about the groceries, you know what I mean? In 2020, you can remember we kind of hit an inflation, like started then,
Yes.
really. And eggs were very expensive.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
A restaurant was struggling. The restaurant to buy eggs or a restaurant to buy chicken wings, like anybody like that was struggling. They were paying 3, 4, or 5 times the amount.
Wow.
That was my out.
Oh.
Wow.
That was my out.
So did you have to
couldn't afford
contact the
them.
old owner?
No.
Or no?
No.
Okay. That was
No,
just
I mean, she was, I'm sure she would have understood. It was the
Yeah,
customers
the
that needed
customers, right?
to be contacted and made aware.
Interesting.
Did we lose some of the following for that? Yes.
Right.
We did. Were we able to come back and reel back new? Yes.
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 Yes. Yeah, because then we went, 100% vegan.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so once you were able to go 100% vegan, the crowds were lined up out the door. Did you hear Green
Right.
Table is 100% vegan now? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So here comes,
nice.
the awards, and
Yes.
things like that for what we were doing,
Which is
and
amazing.
You're
Yeah.
so deserving of those awards because
Thank
the
you.
food is just so incredible. You
they've-
can't tell, that
Right.
So
it's
good.
vegan.
yeah.
Right. You could
Yeah.
take someone who's, a big
Right.
carnivore there. And
Right.
they'll be like, wow,
Yes.
this is actually really good.
Actually, my husband, who's a carnivore,
Right.
happens to love your food.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember he had like
Yeah.
the hamburger. He couldn't
Right.
taste the difference.
Right.
And he
So
was like,
good. Yeah.
Right.
sure, this is
So
not
how do
real
you
meat.
how do you come up with these
The recipes?
the recipes? You don't even
Yes.
eat meat, so how are you
Yeah.
anymore? So
Yeah.
how are you able to taste and find the right, I don't know,
Flavors.
flavors? I feel like
Yeah.
something I struggle with at home is
Yeah.
finding the right flavors, and everything of mine is very bland right
Right.
now. It's so
Right.
bland unless I add a bunch of sauce that I just buy, which is filled with terrible ingredients,
Right, all the
And- Yeah,
preservatives
it's all
and
the
all.
preservatives. Yeah, that's probably
Right.
what's tasting so good, I
Right.
don't know. But how are you're not doing that in all your stuff?
No. So I think, so many people have asked me this question. How do
Yeah.
you know? But in all of my years of cooking, I think that you just develop a palate for certain things, for certain spices, and you just know. It's like asking a musician, how do you sing like that, or an
Yeah,
artist,
right.
or somebody who
That's
writes, how do you
interesting.
write like that? That's the one talent I have.
Right.
Honestly, I can't dance, I can't sing, I can't anything.
It's a good
the one-
talent,
It's the one
though.
talent I have is to be able to go
Wow.
into the kitchen and take any recipe and mimic it and make it
Wow.
vegan.
Really?
Yeah. It's just
That's
I just
cool.
know the spices as soon as I taste them,
Wow.
and I just happen to know exactly what they use. And
I love that analogy because I
Yeah.
can tell my cousin can listen to a piano song one time, then she could just play it. And
Yeah,
you're like
that's my
that, but
kids.
within the kitchen.
and I'm just like that in the
That's
kitchen, and
amazing.
I can recreate in there and just be like, okay, this is the way we're going to do it. So we're going to veganize this dish. And I think one of the most important things in the restaurant was veganizing and bringing in the things that we as Americans know the
Right.
most when we go out to eat.
Right.
Right. So like Philly sandwiches
Phillies,
and
yeah.
burgers and
Yes.
certain soups and things like that. Right.
Yeah.
It's just about veganizing it and keeping, and not losing the taste.
Right. Not
And
losing
I
the taste.
honestly believe that that's one of the things that keep us, award winning and keep us from, our customers coming back is because we have flavor.
Right.
And I
Yes,
feel
we
like
do.
that's one of the things people are most scared of when they go vegan is
Yeah.
everything becomes tasteless.
Right.
It's like, ooh, what is this? Or
Right.
texture.
Or the
things.
texture.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Texture.
So if it's not the
That's
texture, then it's the
interesting.
taste and things
Yeah.
like that. And it's
So
like,
are
what are we
you
gonna do?
cooking everything yourself? And
Yes.
are you, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we make all of our own meat alternative, right? So like
That's
seitan.
amazing.
Mhm.
How did you
all
learn
your
how to
own-
make the
Yeah.
seitan? Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin to
I-
learn how to make it.
yeah. How do you exactly?
Something you don't really think about, right?
Right,
like something you don't think. So, and when we first opened, you guys, just doing some research, right? Like, what is it that? I mean, when my son was growing up, it was tofu, it was tempeh, it was boxed rice milk, it
Right.
was very bland and boring. So you had to get very creative. You were forced to get creative and do fun things. Otherwise, forget about it.
Right.
But when we first opened, when we were going out ourselves and tasting, we would go to restaurants from Beyond Sushi up in New York City,
Yeah.
Right.
who had, seitan skewers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And just tasting everything and being like, oh, well, we can make this. How do you do it? And if you look up and research seitan, it goes back long time, way back
Right.
in the Asian and Indian cultures.
Right.
It's been around for a very, very, very long time. So you can start to research there and just kind of see what it is. And good luck trying to find recipes to make it though, because
Right.
Right.
wow,
Wow.
trial and error. We really, really,
interesting.
but I can say that was my husband 100%.
Oh, interesting.
The seitan was my husband
Interesting.
100%.
So wow. He's a chef also?
He is. He is
he's
there.
in there.
He's a chef
He is
too.
there.
He's there.
Yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
even, we didn't know that. Yeah.
He's there all the time. You've seen him many
Wow.
times in the kitchen, I'm sure.
Oh.
You just didn't know it's him.
So he's like
behind the scenes. Yeah,
He is.
I said it.
He's behind the scenes. So one of the things I think that make us
Such a dynamic
so
duo.
nice.
right. I think one of the things that make us stand out or that are
Yeah.
that is different, right? So many people ask like you guys are building or say, you guys are building this little empire. But he's a perfectionist and he is somebody who is in he's a numbers guy, so he studied business.
Oh.
And I'm the face and
Yeah.
the
Yes.
Chattermouth,
Yeah.
So I
really
think that
complement each other.
I think that we
Yeah.
were able to, So he started doing some research and
That's
coming up
so
with all kinds of different ideas for the recipes for what we would
Yeah.
need. And me with my spice, knowledge and background and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, we were able to create a recipe that was just a winner.
That's really
And
amazing.
it took some time, it took some work, it took a lot of energy and effort and sleepless nights
Right.
and lots of tears and things like
Yeah.
that. But we did it. And
so cool.
and during COVID, during 2020, when the governor was shutting everybody down and 25%, at the restaurant, for us, our main location is a small location, 850 square feet.
Wow.
So that would have been maybe 2 tables. So it was like, what do we do? At that point in time, everybody was calling. They wanted to be healthy.
Right.
And they were like, can we buy a pound of your, can you slice it for me? Can we
Interesting.
buy your sauce? I need that sauce.
Yeah.
And that was my husband's idea then to say, hey, I think you might be onto something here, Niki, with your products. And I think you
Right.
need to take them to a lab
Mm-hmm.
and have everything tested. And I think you need to take it to the FDA, and see what you have to do. And before I knew it, grocery stores who I didn't even realize were customers,
Mm-hmm.
managers, they were like, hey, we would take this product if you ever packaged it.
Oh,
And
wow.
so that's where that began. And it's just steadily grown from there.
So you
know?
sell now the seitan and you package it and you
Yes.
sell it in the supermarket?
Yes, in all the grocery stores. So
Oh,
the seitan
that's
deli
so
slices,
wonderful.
the chicken cutlets, all of our sauces, the yum yum sauce.
Oh, I
yeah,
love
my
that.
favorite.
Yes,
Oh,
my
so
favorite
good.
too.
Yeah, the yum yum sauce, the kettle
Wow.
sauce, the barbecue sauce, the lemon tahini, all of them are
That's
there.
amazing.
The,
So what do
um,
you call it in the packaging?
So it's called Kitchen Witchery.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we will rebrand. That is something we'll be focused on after the new year begins. We'll be rebranding to a brand called 26 Roots. And we're doing that simply because the name Kitchen Witchery has been stunting our growth a little bit. And we want to be able to expand We are with a distributor now, so it is all over.
Very
Nature's Food Patch here locally, you guys, Dunedin and Clearwater, they actually have it in their deli. So you can go and order subs like you could at Publix.
Oh, and it's
order
yours?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize
know
that.
Yeah, and it's
Very
so good.
cool.
I
So
know.
Oh my
I've gone
God.
to Nature's Patch and picked
Nature's
up
Food
your
Patch?
yes, the
Yes.
chicken cutlets.
Yes.
And
Yeah, the
sipped all
sauces.
that,
I always
the
send Jared, grab your
sauces,
sauce
and
on the way home from work. It's so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can go there in the deli, just like if you were going to a
Cool.
Publix or wherever.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
can order, instead of like a Publix sub,
Yeah.
you order a patch sub from
Very-
Nature's Food Patch.
Right.
Oh,
and it's
So-
yes,
yours.
and it's
I didn't know
yours.
that.
Ours. Yeah.
Very
I didn't
cool.
know that
That's
either.
amazing.
That's all ours.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
So, and
so
it's
you had to learn
delicious.
how to package it or freeze it or do
Yes.
it all the right way. That's a lot.
Yes,
That's like
it-
a whole
it
other
is.
adventure while
Totally.
still owning a restaurant.
And then starting the franchise.
That's amazing. And starting a
So
franchise.
we started franchising last year as well. And so
Wow.
Yeah,
So- okay, so
growing.
here's the real question. How do you balance it all? That's a lot.
no personal life. It's all work life. Yeah.
Wow, but this is
Wow.
an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Sorry to pause the podcast, but if you're loving our podcast, then you'll love our book, and we have to tell you a little about it.
Actually, we wrote this book, and it's about how we got this close and how you can too.
It's called A Bond That Lasts Forever, and basically it goes over our life's ups and downs. It shows pictures throughout our life and has adorable quotes throughout to inspire other mothers and daughters to have their own special relationship. You can pick it up on Amazon.com, at Barnes & Nobles, or wherever you get your books. Now, let's get back to the podcast. So I'm sure you get the question a lot, because I know a lot of listeners have written this to me. You know, as a vegan, how do you get your protein? And you're somebody who is making protein constantly for
Right.
people, for
Right.
food. So is there some like protein ideas that you can give some of our listeners?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, beans are full of protein, right? And like as we talk about all the time with certain recipes, tofu and things like that. And tofu, you know, the funny thing is that's usually where people start, and they'll be like, oh, this is bland, this is boring, this is this is
Right.
that. What people don't understand is that tofu takes on any flavor that you will incorporate or give to it. So if you're making something, anything, you know, you want to do a stir fry.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is fried tofu. I love fried tofu. And
Yeah,
you can
me too.
take and just, you know, cut it and put it in a little cornstarch and fry it up, and then put it in a sweet and sour sauce or whatever you want, you know, and have it, you know, like that. So there's a lot of protein in that. There's a lot of protein in nutritional yeast, and that's something that, you know, is very big in the vegan world, nutritional yeast, you know.
I love nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and there's a ton of protein in Vital Wheat gluten. So Vital
what
Wheat
is
gluten,
that?
Vital Wheat gluten is the main staple in seitan or meat alternatives, right? So there's jackfruit. You'll see jackfruit
Yes,
on
I've
the
seen
market a
jackfruit.
lot, right?
Right.
So there's jackfruit, but most of if you go to anything from processed, packaged, frozen foods to your deli, like the selection for deli meats or whatever, and you're in the vegan section, you'll see the majority of it is wheat. That is Vital Wheat gluten, okay? Which is like flour. That's all it is, because Vital Wheat gluten can be made. Seitan is like a bread, but it's loaded with protein, thiamine, niacin, iron, all of the things that we as vegans need.
Yeah.
What makes ours different and ours stand out is that we buy outside of the country, okay? We do import the Vital Wheat gluten.
Interesting.
Yeah, we buy an all natural, non-GMO type of product because
that's
it's not
wonderful.
chemically treated, right?
So you don't have any
the flavors
preservatives
totally
in it?
no cholesterol.
Oh.
We keep it soy free. We keep it low sodium.
Wow.
But in just
wonderful.
2 ounces of that seitan is 26 grams of protein.
Oh,
Wow.
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So if you can imagine like a little 2-ounce cup,
Uh-huh.
you're getting 26 grams of protein. So there's tons of it.
Wow.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we see so many athletes and we see so many bodybuilders and, you know, fitness people and things like that come in and they will buy that product because they can eat it right out of the bag.
So
and
interesting.
it's low sodium, so they're not thirsty, right? This is
Right.
very important for like some of the Bucks players who buy it. They're on the field. They need something that's low sodium.
Right.
So with like the Satan, like the Bucks or the athletes, they could eat it right out of the bag?
Can pull it right out of the bag. Yeah. So it's sliced.
You don't have to cook it.
No.
You don't have
No.
to cook it.
And this is what's really cool about the seitan. It's done up like a deli slice. We package it like deli slices.
But I think I've seen it in the frozen department, right?
You have, yeah.
But how
so
do you...
each store will sell it in their own way.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So like Nature's Food Patch, for
Yeah.
instance, that's a local grocery store here. So that's something where, we all shop,
Right.
and you could go there and get it in their deli,
Mm-hmm.
or you can buy it right in the freezer section. And the reason it's done like that is because it will last a very long time this way. There's no preservative, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Whether it's sitting out in whatever, it's going to be safe. The only preservative, and this is something that I'm super proud of, we worked really hard on this, is that there's nothing in there that is you could not pronounce. Right?
I like that.
Right.
It's all spices.
You can read it.
You can read
Right.
everything and know. And my only preservative is vinegar. It's apple cider vinegar.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm so proud of that because
should
it's
be.
so
So
healthy.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It preserves. And I think a lot of people, unless you're somebody who cans and jars things and grew up that way,
Yeah.
you really wouldn't understand the power of vinegar. Vinegar and the power
so
of it is
interesting.
it's important for us,
Right.
for our bodies, like
Yeah.
everything. So yeah.
Oh, that is
I think
so
that's something
interesting.
that's really, yeah.
That is really cool.
Wow.
So you can buy it in the grocery store, in the freezer section, and in the freezer, it will last a year.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
you could actually
totally
just
good.
put it in the refrigerator.
But you can take it home, put it in the refrigerator, open and close your bag as many times as you want to, and it's
That's
gonna.
what she's gonna do.
That's why I'm
It's gonna last
asking. I
3
didn't
weeks
know
in the
that.
refrigerator, and you're
So
golden.
why are there so many of these vegan products out in the freezer departments that are filled with these ingredients? I don't know what any of it is.
Yeah.
Why is
You know,
that?
the only thing that I can say is commercially produced items like that, right? Mass production. They're looking at how much money can they save, right? But they're not looking at, for me, like I look at the health aspect of things too. Like this is very important,
Yes, it is.
for me,
Right.
for my customers to feel safe when they're eating it. I can go to bed at night, lay my head on the pillow, and know that I've done the right thing. And that's important for me. If I ever sold off the company, things
Yeah.
like that, they would absolutely have to follow. This is something that's that's a stipulation. You have to
Right.
continue with the same exact recipe
Right.
with those same
Right.
ingredients, which is it's a lengthy list of spices, and seasonings and things like that. But it's as clean as can be.
That's
Right.
It's
wonderful.
so clean.
That is amazing.
Right. So that's really important.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that because I feel like so many, I'm vegan, I'm very proud of
Right.
it, but a lot of the frozen food, at least that I
Right.
get, is filled with things I don't know what the ingredients are.
Right.
I'm just like, well, it tastes okay, and
Yeah.
it's not an animal, but doesn't mean it's always good for you. So I love
Right.
that you're bringing like good to the world and vegan is supposed to be healthy.
It
and
is.
like,
I mean,
it's not always, but it should be.
And if you
so
pick up
this
one of those
is.
packages and you look at the sodium, and you're looking at something, if you have, one chicken cutlet, like we sell a
Yeah.
package of chicken
Right.
cutlets, one chicken cutlet and say maybe, another brand of some sort, one cutlet might be 600, 700, 800 milligrams of sodium,
Wow.
Wow.
which is detrimental to our health.
Yes.
It really,
Yeah.
really is. And you can have one of my chicken cutlets and it's 55 milligrams of sodium.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
You can have 2 ounces of my deli slice, and it's 15 milligrams.
Wow.
Of
Oh,
sodium.
that's unbelievable.
So,
that's
you know,
so
this is-
wonderful.
This
Yeah.
is
That's what
huge.
makes you stand out from
I think so.
everybody else.
And that's
really
what's
cool.
that's why it's so important for me to keep it like that.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
in franchising the restaurant, that's something it's imperative. The franchisees. Thankfully, the distributor who carries all of our products is also one of our distributors, that we have to
Yeah.
order from.
Right.
So the franchisees can order all of our products right from the distributor and still be able to
Wow.
service all of their restaurants.
That's really
with
cool.
our products.
How do you do like vegan desserts? Because that's a hard thing to find is
Yeah.
vegan desserts.
Yeah.
And,
So there's a-
and to make them good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole
A
thing.
lot of sugar.
That's
I feel like,
true.
right? Or,
So
or
no, you know
it's
what's really
interesting.
funny is
What?
you can use. There's a great sugar replacer that I love to use for my desserts, which is
Ooh.
monk fruit.
Oh, I've never
Yeah.
thought of that.
Really?
How do you do?
How do
So
you
monk
do
fruit
that?
is-
how does that
monk
work?
fruit is like powdered sugar. It's like a powder. It's like a granulated sugar. So just like cane sugar would be. And I feel like I feel like a lot of people, this is intimidating for them.
Yeah.
Right. But it's so easy. You can replace it like for like.
Wow.
So instead of using sugar, I mean, you can use stevia, you know, and all of those things. So you don't have to with desserts and things like that. But there is a great product on the market called Just Egg.
Oh, yes. I know Just Egg.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and at one point in time, we were using applesauce and flax egg and things like that.
And things, yeah.
Yes. So flax egg was something that we used along,
Right.
you know, the way.
Can you explain what flax eggs to the people
So
listening?
flax seeds, we would just grind them and mix them with a little water.
And that makes like an egg replacement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes an egg replacement.
And applesauce makes an egg replacement.
And applesauce, yeah, great for, you know, certain people who are like, oh, I can't have, you know, the egg, or I don't want the egg or whatever. But now there is Just Egg on the market.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, it's so simple. And you just replace it. I think it's 3 tablespoons
Yes.
as 1 egg.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
used
you just
that.
replace it. Yeah. You just replace
Interesting.
it, which is really, really
That
nice.
is good.
Yeah. So it makes
So-
it easy for us.
For somebody who is wanting to try like try a vegan meal or
Yeah.
try some vegan meals, but is intimidated by getting in the kitchen,
Yeah.
is there any like, okay, this is your go-to first vegan recipe that's like super easy?
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that?
Gosh. Okay. So I do. I have
do?
one that I think is so easy. You guys, anyone who's been online, social media, anything like that, or followed certain recipes, they've heard of recipes called Marry Me Chicken.
Yes.
Or Marry Me This or Marry Me that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Well, I have a Marry Me Butterbean recipe.
Ooh.
Butterbean.
Butter
Okay,
beans are
this
so
I have
yummy.
to hear. Wow.
Butter beans are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good. And this is so simple. It's literally some onion, garlic, the beans, the butter beans. You can use canned, rinse them really well. You know, you can boil your own if you want to.
Any kind
But-
of beans?
No, butter
Butter
beans.
Butter beans. That's a certain bean.
That's
Yes.
a bean.
Oh, yeah, butter beans.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh.
They're
Yeah,
like white.
it's- they're
color,
really,
light
really
brown.
good. They're very, very flavorful.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you're not boiling, you know, a
Yeah.
bag yourself, and you want to just buy a few cans of it or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, I always
So what do you do?
suggest just rinsing them really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, some onions and garlic. You know, saute the onions till translucent.
Mm-hmm.
Add in your garlic and your beans.
Yeah.
A little bit of like vegetable broth.
Okay.
And then maybe some pepper or something like that, some parsley. But Violife makes a really great heavy whipping cream.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so you can use the heavy whipping cream, some sun-dried tomatoes, and you're gonna make like a super, super easy Marry Me Butterbean recipe.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
love that.
It's delicious.
Ooh, I'm gonna try
it's
that.
very delicious, and it's good over anything from rice to pasta to mashed
Wow.
potatoes.
Wow.
So it really is, and it's you get your protein.
Yes.
You get
Right.
your protein.
I love that.
So that's like one of my, other than like fried tofu's and
Yeah.
you know, just throwing together in a saute pan some vegetables. You know, it's
Right.
just one of my, and I love soups. I'm a soupy.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
soup.
So, and I feel like that's so easy.
Yeah, you make great soups.
Oh my
Every
gosh.
time I come, I always say, like, what soup is
What's
there
the soup of the
today?
day?
And
love
that's the thing I
soup.
really like is that you change the soups a lot too.
All the
I
time.
noticed you're always
Yes.
changing it. I
Yeah.
was going to ask you that because I know you're always coming up with new recipes.
Yeah.
It's probably hard for you to like commit to one menu, you
It
know?
is.
And so it's nice with the soups. They're
Yes.
always changing. I know you always
Yes.
have specials too that
Yes.
you add, but
Yeah. Soups, I feel like soups have to change. That's just a given in a restaurant, right? You can't.
Right.
We can have we do have a signature soup, the Moroccan tomato peanut,
Yes.
right?
So
So that's a
good.
signature
So good.
soup that was in the restaurant when we bought
Right.
it, the
Right.
vegetarian restaurant, and we just veganized that.
Yeah.
Right. So because there is a small amount of sugar in there, so we took
Oh,
that and traded that out.
interesting.
Yeah. So we traded that out. And again, you can use
Yeah.
monk fruit and things like
Oh,
that
that's
so that it's not
wonderful.
so
Wow.
heavy and, you know.
Right.
But the sugar, it's there with a little bit of vinegar just to kind of cut the acid of the tomatoes, right? Because there's a lot
Right,
of tomatoes and stuff
right,
like that. So
right.
we use that for that.
Oh,
And
so
the
good.
sugar will cut the heat because there's
Yeah.
cayenne pepper and all in there.
Right.
So the sugar
right.
will kind of cut the heat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that comes into play. But yeah, soups are easy. That's something that, you know, you can't say
Interesting.
I can't be vegan. Yes, you can because
Just soup.
it's very
Wow.
easy today, you know, to
Yeah.
be a vegan. It really is.
Oh my gosh!
And
well,
it's
you
not
make it. You
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it. I'm just glad your restaurant's near me.
Hopefully we'll have them all over.
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
That's
Start
the-
requesting.
I mean, that's
Request
the
them in your
goal.
supermarkets and you know all
Mhm.
their meats and stuff because
Yeah.
oh, so good.
So
yeah, it's nice.
wonderful.
And I love the fact, just like what you were saying before. I just love that like, I really feel like your meats need to be everywhere, your
Yes.
vegan meats, because
Yeah.
I'm so tired of going to grab a vegan meat from a freezer in Publix or whatever,
Yeah.
a supermarket, and like not knowing what the ingredients even are. So
Right.
like I want those everywhere. So everyone needs to like request
Right.
request
Right.
your supermarkets.
Yeah. And I think, you know,
Yeah.
the packaging to me screams, you know, it is non-GMO.
Yeah.
It's cholesterol free.
That's
It's high protein.
wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
kosher. It's, you know,
So cool.
it's very important that, you know, we advertise that and that some people will pick it
Yeah.
up and read the ingredients. But again, that's something I'm super proud of. If you turn it over, you're going to be able to pronounce every single thing there because it's simple, clean ingredients.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Well, before we end this podcast, I have one last question,
Yes.
and that is, what is the hardest thing about owning a restaurant, especially
Oh.
a vegan restaurant? What would you say is like the hardest part? Because I've heard people be like, oh, I want to open a restaurant one day. Like a lot of people like talk about that type, but like doing it it's
a
what
whole
everything you
different thing.
do. It's like amazing. I'm always
Yeah.
just like in awe of you and all that
Yeah.
you do.
Well, I don't sleep.
Right.
I literally write recipes in my head all the time.
Wow.
But I can tell you that owning a restaurant is not for the weak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So not to crush anyone's dream or anything like that, but it is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You really are married to that industry. It's, you know, it's all the time. You want to, for me, you know, you want to remain award winning and
Yeah.
you want to
Yes.
remain competitive in the market. That's very important. But structurally, you know, you have to have a good foundation. And I think that your team is everything, you know, not just your food.
Yeah.
It's the food. It's everything from the moment you walk in the door till the moment you walk out the door. You have to think about all of those things, the whole foundation of it all, you know?
Right.
And that's, it's
You
not,
have to
it's no
live and
easy
breathe
task,
it.
but you really do. You really do.
And believe in what you do.
That's
Yeah.
the most important thing. You know, you have to have the passion. If you have the passion for saving more animals and providing healthier foods for people, and,
Yeah.
you know, you think about, like, I do see in our restaurant, I do see a lot of patients that are sick with cancer that come from the Utopia health clinics and places like that. They can't have soy, they can't have certain things, and they're sent to us for that very reason. You know, the doctors are like, I want you to follow this type of a diet, and I want you to, you know, follow this and do this and eat that. And so they're sent to us. And I think that's probably my reason, you know,
That's
to
wonderful.
continue on is to keep
Yeah.
people healthy, keep the animals safe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those are things that, but
Yeah.
to start a restaurant, continue a successful restaurant, you really need to be passionate,
Yes.
Yes.
front forward. Like you have to constantly pound the pavement. What is new? What is something everybody wants? What is everybody
Right.
doing today?
Wow.
How can you change this? What, you know, it's a
Yeah.
constant work. It's just
Yeah.
constant work
And you're dealing with the public. You're dealing
Yeah.
with people constantly.
all the time.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
And that's difficult too.
yes, because, you know, the customer is not always right.
Yeah.
You hear about this in customer service and
Yeah.
but it's our goal to, no matter what, make them happy, you know, and when you have, you know, I think we've been very fortunate. We have been very, very lucky with the customer base that we have. I feel like we have a great following. We've had some great supporters, and
Yeah.
without them, we are nothing. You know, you have to have a great following.
Yeah.
You have to be, location is key
Yeah.
Yes.
Location's
That's
important.
very
in a restaurant
important.
business. Location.
Well, I
Yes.
always feel like in life, it's about like, I don't know, doing something good for the world and like
Yeah.
making your mark. And I feel like
Yes.
you're really doing that.
Yes.
So
I
yeah,
feel
you,
like that's
you inspire us
for
all
sure.
the
Yes,
time.
totally.
And
Aw, thank
I think,
you.
you know, what you're doing is amazing, especially because, you know, your food is amazing. You are nonstop. You're go, go, go. You're always doing more.
Yes.
And you're teaching people that like being vegan can be delicious. It's
Right.
healthy.
Yeah.
It's great. Like there's, you know,
Yeah.
I'm
And
just
you're
so proud
also
of you.
teaching people to go after your passion.
Yes.
And that you can make it successful,
Yeah.
which you have.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Because this is a hard industry. Like opening up a restaurant's hard
hard.
enough. Opening up a vegan restaurant, like
Yeah.
that's not for
Yes.
everybody. So
hard.
and you're doing so many things.
so hard.
Anyways, well, we are so glad that you are
Thank
here.
you,
You are
ladies.
amazing.
Yeah.
And
So are
can
you.
you tell our listeners where they can follow you
Yes.
and all of that?
Yeah. So Facebook, Instagram, The Green Table Restaurant. And then our website online, www.thegreentablerestaurant.com. We're located at 3390 Tampa Road in Palm Harbor. We do have a location in Dunedin, and then a location in Brandon, and then soon to be announced outside of the state of Florida, which we're really excited about.
That's
What?
so
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're excited. Hopefully we'll be all over the U.S. before you know it.
Yes.
Can
And,
you imagine?
and make sure you all
Internationally
follow
and-
along. I'm telling her she's going to get a cookbook out soon. So make
Yes.
sure you
Yes.
follow
Yeah.
because yes,
Yeah.
we all need these recipes from her.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Make sure you follow Niki and follow the Chattermouth Podcast. Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.